Hey there, welcome to the REI Conversion Podcast, where each episode we discuss strategies and digital tools to help you launch, automate, and scale your real estate investing business. Learn how to run your investing business remotely, find out ways to automate your business to better utilize your time, and learn what other successful investors are implementing so you can get to the next step closer to your investing goals. And I'm your host and founder of REI Conversion, Jesse Kwong. Hey there, how's it going? It's Jesse here from the REI Conversion Podcast. I've got two special guests here with me today, Ariana and Dave, a couple who are also land investors and actually quite new to land. But they're coming onto this show here today to explain about their challenging property as part of our mini series here, as part of for the podcast called Odd Props. So I'm really excited to bring them on to really shed some light again on some more challenging and difficult situations that other land investors have to go through. So sit back, relax, enjoy this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by REI Conversion. If you are looking for a system to help you streamline your entire land investing, really to centralize your processes and operations so you can run from one system fluidly, setting you up to be able to scale and grow your business or buy you back time. Make sure you check out REI Pebble. You can head over to reiconversion.com/Pebble, and you can also book a one-on-one demo with me. Yes, it is with me. A lot of people get surprised. Oh, it's actually Jesse who's on the call. Yes. Book a call with me. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to hear about you, your challenges, and if Pebble is even a good fit for yourself. So head over to reiconversion.com. There's a book a demo button there at the top of the window there, and I'd be happy to jump on a call. Other than that, guys, sit back, enjoy the show, and I hope you do get tons of value out of this episode. Cheers. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Jesse here from the REI Conversion Podcast. I've got two special guests here, Dave and Ariana. How are you both doing?
Doing great.
We're doing good. Thank you. Happy to be
Awesome.
here.
Yes. No, it's awesome to get a chance to sit down with just, people who are doing the business, who are in it. And on this episode, it is another episode of what I called Odd Props. We're going to be talking about a challenging property, whether you've resolved it, if you haven't, but really sort of shedding some light to some of the challenges and the realistic side of things that people face in land. I know constantly all we hear is like, yeah, hurrah stories and like wins and this, but it's also really important, I think, for people to set the expectation of what they're going to be facing, because you are going to be hit with challenges. You're going to go through dry spells, and it's at those moments that you really get tested, and these kind of episodes really put a little bit of perspective in there just to show you like there are struggles with this business. It's not as glorifying as everybody sells it to be. It really isn't. You got to get there and work it, talk to others, learn from your mistakes, and kind of go from there. So before we get into it, Ariana, Dave, can you guys share a little bit about yourselves and how you got started with land?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead and start.
Okay, so David, Ariana, we are Maryland, and we were brought here because of the military. David was in the Navy up until recently, and a few years ago, when he was getting ready to separate, he really wanted to separate from the military. He was looking for options on what to do, and we came across, learning about passive income, leaving the rat race, not doing the 9 to 5 anymore. So we were all in, and we learned about real estate.
Yeah.
And David decided it would be a good idea to start doing some start doing some real estate. So we joined a real estate
coaching program.
Yeah, a coaching program. We learned multiple techniques, how to do assignment of contracts, how to do lease options, flips, all of that. And it was definitely tough the first year. I don't think we closed the deal until the second year.
Yeah, it took us 20 months to do our first deal.
Did you hear that, guys? 20 months. Like, these are real numbers. Like, get these in your head, guys. Like, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and then being in Maryland, we came across a lot of land, and we had no idea what to do with land. We didn't know how to comp land, how to market that. So doing a little research, talking to other people, we were told, like, check out this other...
Looking to the camera.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Love it.
I'm sorry. Check out this
No, you're
other.
good.
It was like another coaching program for land specifically. So we learned everything about land, and that was about a year ago. And it took us maybe 6 months, I think, 6 months to close our first land deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
6 months.
but we've been doing deals ever since then. Yeah, it's been challenging, but we've enjoyed the process for sure.
Yeah, we're
Eh,
definitely slowly getting better.
Mhm.
We see the momentum gaining. The more leads are coming in. We're getting more contract under contract, more properties under contract,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
we're closing slowly more rapidly.
Yeah.
So we can feel it. Our momentum is growing, and we're gonna kill it this year. Hopefully,
I
Yeah.
love that.
not hopefully.
So
No.
That's what we're visualizing.
Mhm.
We're visualizing our success. Yeah.
I love that. And so kind of again coming back to the timeline here. How long ago was it that you guys got started in land?
Land, 2012,
2020.
2020, yeah.
No, 2021.
2012. Wow.
No.
I
Yeah,
2020.
know,
long time
I
ago.
know.
Yeah.
January 2021. It was when we started our coaching
Yeah, with the
program
land.
with
Gotcha.
land.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
that's you guys are pretty fresh in the game here,
Yeah.
really getting started. But now you guys are already picking up momentum. I think a lot of people feel like they've got to do it for many years, or it takes much longer to actually get to momentum. And you guys are
Yeah,
doing. And another special thing about you guys is that you guys are a couple, correct?
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you guys are working as a partnership, which is awesome. It's
yeah.
always great to have somebody on the team that you can trust and work. And I know a lot of people do work with their partners as well. So you guys seem to work really well together.
It
So,
comes with challenges for sure, but
Yeah.
of
I have to
course,
stop
of
you there.
course.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all butterflies and rainbows.
Yeah.
Being a couple, we have to separate a lot of things,
Yeah.
but it is nice to have a partner, that you do
Mhm.
all, you don't have to do everything by yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's
Do
cool.
you guys find it a challenge to like stop talking about land? Because you guys can easily talk about land at any time. Dinner, cooking, at the
Yes.
mall, grocery shop.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are on it together. But at the same time, it makes it that much more fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
Yeah.
I can like throughout the day, random thoughts just come through my mind.
Mhm.
Oh, we should do this with this
Mhm.
deal. Oh, we should do this with this lead. Oh, hey, there's
Yeah.
this guy, and
Yeah.
these thoughts come to you randomly throughout the day. So there's no really time place where we just sit down and let's talk
Mhm.
about land. No, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Land
It does.
happens
Yeah.
24/7.
It's
Sometimes I
hard.
even dream about it.
That's true.
Oh man. Okay. Let's come into talking about your odd prop. Why don't you give us the premise as to what this problem property was about, or what the actual challenge is about?
So this property we came across, and it had a lot of bonds and back taxes it was owed, and then so much to the point that he had more debt than what the property was worth. So we had to negotiate with the seller to bring his asking price down, and then trying to explain it to him in a way that it makes sense for both of us and he understands. And then eventually, I mean, let's face it, he was already motivated. He was distressed seller.
Right.
He was getting tired of that taxes and back bonds and
I,
accumulating
I,
interest.
I'm
Yeah.
going to stop you here. For those listeners who don't know, I mean, back taxes. Can you sort of tell us what back taxes are? Can you tell us what bonds are?
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So back
Or in a
taxes.
very you don't need to get technical here. In a very
No.
basic way.
Back
Okay.
taxes are just delinquent taxes that have not been paid.
Yeah.
In this case, have been years.
Yeah.
It was owed like $7,000 or more.
Wow.
And then bonds and assessments in this case, usually some communities charge, like new communities are new, what is the word? Like new subdivisions are being developed.
Yeah.
They raise money from the homeowners to pay for infrastructure and water, sewer, that kind of stuff. So this particular subdivision or community had they charge for bonds and they charge for assessments, and
Gotcha.
they owe the sellers owe like $40,000
Wow.
and owe
Yeah.
delinquent bonds and assessments.
Yeah.
So
And the property
let's say
was only
you,
worth property was
you
only worth around what 10K, and then he had like
Yeah.
$40,000 debt on it. I was like, when I first
So
saw it, I was
immediately,
like,
you guys must have thought, "Hey, you
yeah,
know what? We're not going to
walk
deal with
away. We
this."
don't want to deal with this. But then we were able
Yeah.
to pull something off.
Go ahead, you were
Yeah,
gonna ask a question.
yeah, and what was it that you guys realized? Hey, like this, there might be something at least pursuing here. What sort of tipped you guys off?
Well, we actually were under contract with this property, so I think
Already, yeah.
that's the part that David kind of skipped. But so when we're doing our due diligence and we see this, we had no idea that it was something even that we had to pursue. Honestly, we were about to drop that.
Yeah.
But I had a builder reach out to me, and it was interesting. He was interested in buying. He made an offer,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't think that was possible. And he knew that there was bonds and assessment owed.
So
So
hold on. How did you meet this? How did you meet this builder? How did you connect with him?
just marketing. He saw my ad. I believe it was like on Zillow,
Yeah.
and he reached out to me.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that's really
Now, did he
how.
explain why he thought this was a worthwhile property for him to build on?
It was like
Was the community actually coming up in that area, or?
it was already a well-established community, and
Mm-hmm.
this lot was like near the golf course,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a really hot property. If he were
Mhm.
to build there, he was gonna make some money for sure.
Yeah.
And this is in
And
Florida,
mhm.
so
It's in Florida.
So you guys started marketing on this property before you even have taken that property, right? So put it under contract, or did you put it under contract already?
no, it was under contract, and
Mhm.
we
Okay.
and we had done our due diligence, and
Okay.
That's when we found out that
right.
all that debt was there.
So we still try to market it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got you.
Just to see if there's anybody out there who can still make an offer and make this work. And sure enough, we came across our savior.
Yeah. So just kind of getting understanding of your strategy, you guys are actually double closing. You didn't actually purchase that property, is that correct?
Well, we it was an assignment of contract.
For that
Okay.
particular
Yes.
property.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
that was
Got
the
you.
strategy. Yes.
And that makes it a lot easier too when you can sort of just assign the contract. You don't really need to take ownership of it.
Mhm.
You can sort of take less. There's sometimes, I guess, less meat on the bone, I guess you would call it, right?
Yeah.
So the builder decided to move forward with it. Was there any challenges sort of working with the builder with the taxes and then the bonds on that? Or was it just an easy transfer of contract over?
Well, like David said, we had to because we had it under contract. We did have to go back and negotiate with the seller,
Mhm.
just so we can make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at first, so the way we do things is we just run the comps for the property, and we evaluate the property in 5 minutes and send an offer out in another 5 minutes. And thanks to Pebble, it's so much easier now. Little plug in there for Pebble. I like it. So much
Appreciate
better.
it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got it on the contract for 5K, and then
Yeah.
found out there's a 40K worth of debt. And I was like, oh shoot, it's not gonna work out. We have to negotiate with the seller. So there was a little challenge with the negotiating part with the seller. But I walked him through, hey, this is how much is owed. We found out, and he knew about it too. That's the reason why he agreed to sell it at 5K to
Hmm.
begin with. And we were able to negotiate the price down to around $1,000, and then went back to the buyer and say,
Yeah.
hey, pay us like 2-3K for assignment fee. Let's get
Yeah.
this deal closed and everybody get paid and move on. So
That's an
Yeah.
awesome that's an awesome story. So
yeah.
what would you say are sort of some of the learning lessons you guys got out of
Oh man,
a property you would have just like forget it,
yeah,
but you profited a few Ks from this from just
yeah,
signing the contract.
yeah.
So personally, I did have to go back and forth with the buyer a little and like
Hmm.
negotiate the title attorney and that kind of stuff. So it did take me a little bit longer than I wish it had. But
You're talking about the negotiation with the seller?
with the buyer,
With the
Oh,
buyer,
with the buyer.
yeah,
Okay.
with the buyer.
and just logistically, sending documents. He didn't want to use my assignment of contract, this and that. Just talking to attorney and that. I feel like I did spend a little more time than I wish I did.
Yeah. Hmm.
But we needed cash, and
Yeah.
3K was like, I'll take that. I mean,
Yeah.
Mhm.
David was still in
Yeah.
the military. I'm a stay-at-home mom, you
Yeah,
know.
that's
And it's
awesome.
like,
You
so
know,
I think that's one lesson. I mean, I think we spend too much time, I think, in the negotiation part, and
if you could go back looking at that situation, where do you think you could have saved a little bit more time on?
Um, I would say doing the due diligence upfront, at least in this particular neighborhood or
that's true.
district. Sorry, yeah. Because this area is known for bonds, lots of bonds,
Ah.
and apparently, the particular seller we were dealing with, he was not the only one getting screwed over with this bond, and I came across at least two or three more potential sellers who complain about how much bond there is, and they just straight up give up, and they're just gonna let the county or district take the property and put it back on the tax sale or something like that. They were
Hmm.
ready to give up, but
Wow.
so in the future, if you, I mean, since we know that area is known for bond, we will
Yeah.
will be checking how much debt there is on each
Right.
property, and then
Right.
make the offer based on that number that makes sense for us. So that's what we do for sure.
So those other property owners, did you decide to follow up with those ones as well?
Yes, yes. The second one we came across same situation.
Yeah.
By the time we found out, got in touch with the county, and we found out the property already gone to tax sale. And
Oh, okay. So it's a little
when I
bit too
once I
late.
informed that to the seller, and he was like, "Well, I already gave up on it anyway. I mean, that's what I
Yeah.
was expecting to happen, and that's what I got. So whatever."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then we moved forward from there. The second
Yep.
one, another person came across with the bond situation, but this lady, she said that she's just gonna hold on to it as long as she could. She wasn't willing to negotiate with the price. So I was like, okay, if you don't want to play ball, we'll just
Right.
leave. We'll just get out of here. So
Yeah. And how
that's
long
what.
ago was this?
This was last year. Last year,
Okay.
at
October.
third quarter,
I
fourth
close to my
quarter.
birthday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I close to my birthday.
yeah.
Congrats then. Well, you
Well,
never know that other seller may come around and work with
yeah,
you guys because it might just become a hassle down the
yeah,
road for them.
yeah.
Um,
It's really, I think it's really cool to go over the way the buyer structured to purchase the property.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
don't know if you want to go into the details about that.
Yeah, let's do it. Why don't you share us what that was like?
Yeah, so the way buyer did, and then he knew the property wasn't worth 40K, because he was planning to build a house on it and put it back on the market for crazy amount of gains, he decided to take the bond and slap it towards the construction loan, and with that he
Oh,
was able to close without not much paying for the bond, without paying for the bond upfront.
oh,
So
wow.
I think he somehow figured out a way to pay for the bond once he sell the house. This is one
Oh,
construction buyer. So I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then that's something that we
oh,
learn out of that and still stay with
yeah,
us. And eventually in the future, who knows? Maybe we want to develop a lot. And then
sure.
if we come across something like that, we have a tool in our belt that we can
It's
calculate
interesting
about.
that he was willing to share that with you. Now,
Yeah,
Well, he shared that with us because he said, "Did you have more lots to sell me?"
yeah,
So,
ah,
he wanted me to bring in more, but I haven't had the chance to make
right.
it work for him. But I asked him, I was like, "Hey, would you mind sharing? How were you able to pay for that?" And
yeah,
that's how he said, I went to a local bank. Most banks won't let you do that, but a local bank will lend you the money and will be okay with like tying those bonds into that construction loan. It
Interesting.
was really
no,
interesting, yeah.
yeah,
So because he has that tool and he's like willing to buy more from me and pay me
hmm
my assignment fee in the future, so that was really cool because
Yeah.
now I have a connection to also
yeah. And
and
then
a buyer right ready to go.
and more importantly, we know how to close on a problematic property
Like
like
that,
that.
yeah.
We have a
Yeah.
tool, and then I
Yeah.
was like, wow, that I think that's the most priceless
Valuable.
value we got
Yeah.
out of that whole experience. Sure, we
True.
didn't make a lot, what 2-3K,
3K.
yeah,
Yeah.
on our
Sure.
assignment fee, but that lesson alone is priceless, and I'm sure
That's
one day,
exactly it. I think like
one day you will give
make
us a lot of return.
Yeah, coming across these things, and you're still coming out in the plus, but the bigger part of this is now you have the confidence and understanding how to deal
Yeah,
with these kind of properties, which I think, like you said, is truly priceless.
yeah.
Um, Now, you didn't talk much about the seller. There was
Mhm.
nothing much too tricky about the process with that, was there?
No, it was
No.
huge. With this seller, he pretty much gave up on the property when we reached out to him, and
Yeah,
he was just waiting for that notice that hey, your property foreclosed. He was pretty much
Mhm.
waiting for that.
Yeah.
But we got to him just on time with
yeah.
our marketing, and we were able to save his property and let him
See,
get paid.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's all about timing. Like, just
Yeah,
this is truly all about timing. That
yeah.
what happened. Um, Now, out of curiosity, did he originally purchase that property? What, did he inherit it, or how did he
Yeah,
come
he
across that
purchased
property?
it. He
Okay.
was he said he mentioned something that he wanted to do something with it eventually, but I guess he got caught up with life expenses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody
Totally.
has their story.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Ariana, Dave, thanks so much for sharing your sort of odd props. One other thing I'd love to ask you guys, as you guys are sort of trekking this journey, and you're sort of starting out, what would you say you've learned so far as somebody who's getting started? And there's going to be a lot of people that are learning about land, exploring land, and are maybe they're getting started, maybe they're not yet, but you're still fresh in there, and you have a lot of your new learnings here. What can you sort of share with some of those that are just getting started, or yeah, getting into the space within their first year?
Yeah, I would say definitely use the right CRM, especially Pebble.
I appreciate the plug. Thank
We
you,
do
thank
wish
you.
we,
No,
we do wish we would have come across that a year ago, and not gonna
yeah,
lie. I mean,
yeah.
that really is.
I say that with all my heart because man, I spent so much time printing, stuffing envelopes, sending out offers.
Yeah,
Um,
Neighborhood
um,
letters.
yeah, neighborhood letters.
yeah,
But with Pebble, it's just a couple clicks and you're done, and you can
yeah,
send as much as offers within a matter of 10 minutes. And to me, that's time saving is amazing. And I love that how everything is just so easy for us to stay organized, and we can
yeah,
see everything in front of us. So yeah, I would say definitely use the right tool for
mm,
starting out. And
mm,
the second one is to never give up. Don't give up because it took us 20 months to do our first deal,
I
and
hear
I'll
that.
never forget. I'll never forget. That's a story that will stay with us as
Oh
long as
yeah.
we live. And then we
Yeah,
never gave up because I knew that one day we're gonna close, and one deal is all it takes.
it
So
is, and
You close
and
one,
good
and then
good
you
for
start
you.
closing nonstop.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then we
Mhm.
had a mentor at the time. He
hmm
he 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 hammered on that topic as well. He said first deal is the hardest to do, but as soon as you get the first one done, it gets easier after that. So
isn't
yeah,
that
20
weird?
months. Don't give
I
up.
wonder. I wonder what it is. Is it a
Yeah,
a mindset shift, a confidence shift,
yeah,
or do
Yeah.
you just get
yeah,
more momentum out of that to
yeah.
really dig a little bit further because now you've proven the concept? And a lot of people are in that stage of needing to prove that concept to themselves or even their
Mhm.
spouse or whoever to continue to run it. So I appreciate you sharing that. That's definitely not an easy one for people to swallow. Never give up. But I appreciate you guys sharing the details and the time that it took you guys to finally get there.
Yeah.
Um, Ariana, Dave, thank you very much. If you guys want to chat with both of them, they're part of our Pebble community here inside of Slack. I'm sure they're around in other Facebook groups as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're around. So if you guys want to check out and have a chat with them, um, do look for them. Dave, Ariana, thank you once again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having us. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Before you stop this podcast or head to the next episode, I want to personally thank you for listening to this episode of the REI Conversion Podcast. If you found this helpful, we'd greatly appreciate an awesome review and rating on whichever platform you're listening to this on. And if you have 2 minutes and wanted to step it up even more and help others, feel free to share this in other Facebook groups or pages or any communities, giving others a heads up of the REI Conversion Podcast or this specific episode that may help them on their investing journey. Once again, thanks very much for listening and catch you on our next episode.